What I want to ask you guys first is how y'all doing today? Scale of 1 to 10, how are you? Your connections with God. It's a Friday night. I'm
Oh,
asking
I'm
you.
good. I got my iPhone, so I'm straight now.
Oh, yeah. How do you like it? I meant to ask you that.
It's cool. I mean, I didn't get it till like 6 something, so I had to like move everything over. And then the case that I bought was like ugly, so I had to order another case. It'd be here like 7 in the morning. But I got the
Mhm.
orange one, you know what I mean? But I got this gold
Yeah,
case on it.
that's
It's
what's
my
been
thing.
on the billboards.
Yeah, yep.
Wow. How about you, Charles?
I'm I'm good. I'm tired. I have a busy weekend. Yeah, I'm getting back in the groove of creating content. Um I have two podcasts that I'm shooting this weekend. And then I'm going to a premiere for like a mini doc that I put together
A
for
premiere for what?
it's a mini doc
Oh,
that
okay.
um me and my videographer shot and I put it together. Um that's Sunday evening that I'll be going to that.
Okay. And
So
can you hear the background? I think they might hear the echo. Yeah. Cindy's here. She wants to see you guys like on the bigger screen. uh Todd, how are
No,
you?
things are great. A little tired, looking forward to the weekend, but everything's great.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I know it's Friday, it's the end of the week. And you're like, damn.
That's all good.
So what I
yeah.
really love is that your daughters are different ages. And so share with the audience how old your daughters are. Because we're going to talk about that bond between fathers and daughters.
My daughter is 19.
Yeah, and my daughter's in her early 30s. I don't know if she wants me to say.
Good answer. Mine is I have a junior that's 16, and then I have one that's 19 months.
Wow.
19 months?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
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 Before I continue, I would like to ask people to go visit at some point gaappleseed.org and please see all that this organization offers in helping underserved children, homeless children around housing and education. Georgia's gaappleseed.org. And then please, if you are inclined, click the support button and you can support this nonprofit by making a contribution to really important work that they do. So, can you describe, I'm a daughter and I know that it seems more intense when fathers have daughters. And so how would you describe that? I mean, is it how would you characterize your relationship with your daughter and your bonds? Charles?
My my bond with my daughter is very it's strong. It's something that I won't say I never thought I would ever have a bond like that, but I would say that's like she's like my best friend, but I don't never want to put her in that category as being my best friend because I still want her to look at me as her father.
Mhm.
But she knows that she can come to me with any and everything, and I'm always going to be there for her.
Mhm. Mhm. Before I go to, you guys go, and then I want to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of phenomenon because we have these relationships with women, right? We have relationships with our mother, relationship with our spouses, but that bond, that relationship with my daughter is the only thing I could think. It's just transcendent. It's just enormous and powerful. And that doesn't mean the other relationships aren't. It's just that this is just so unique and so beautiful that it, there's really no other way for me to describe it, because I was thinking about that before the podcast. How would you even describe that? I mean, I can't imagine what my life would be like without her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Russell?
Oh, it's it's different. Um, it's interesting because I've always been in Marley's life, and though I'm not her biological father, I position myself in a place of understanding because I have a step parent, right? So it's a delicate dance when you're doing that because from my perspective, I never wanted my stepmother to feel like she had to replace my mom or be my mom. I just wanted her to be her, right? Like whatever she was going to be for me, it was an independent relationship. But she came into my life when I was like a well-established person. Like I was 7 years old. Like I was gonna be who I was gonna be as far as like being a person.
Mhm.
Um, with Marley, I was in her life pretty much her whole life. So, um, she looks at me as a father while understanding she has a biological father and he's in her life. And I've done my best to make sure that the relationship between her father and I are as good as it can possibly be. And it's a solid relationship. With that being said, she's a high school student. So right now she's kind of coming into her own,
Mhm.
but she hasn't done anything crazy to make me feel like, "Oh my gosh, this is different." With my daughter Lauren, I mean, she's a baby right now, so it's pretty interesting. I'm kind of like looking forward to seeing who she's gonna be because it seems like all of my closest relationships were with Aquarius. She's an Aquarius. She was born February 2nd, the day after my father. And my father and I had a very, very close relationship. And it's so interesting that you all brought up the whole best friend thing because I think there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Mhm.
Like, you're always gonna be whoever you are to a person, but a friendship is chosen. And so when you choose a friend, then that's the ultimate unconditional love. Like it's not unconditional love, but it's chosen. It's what you wanted to be.
Mhm.
So you'll always be their fathers, but saying that they are that good of a friend is actually a compliment. And I felt like I was that way with my dad. And
Mhm.
no, he didn't necessarily have to share everything with me. And I'm sure I didn't get his deepest feelings about me as far as like criticisms. I always got his deepest feelings about love, but I was cool with that. But he shared a lot with me, like a lot, and I shared a lot with him. So I'm
Mhm.
hoping that's what happens with me and my daughter. Like I used to always think growing up, I just want a boy. I want a boy. And I
Mhm.
did get a boy. But before that, I realized like when I was in my 20s, I was like, I don't know, man. I think I want a girl because this man stuff is hard. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I'm so much harder on my son than I am the girls, and I don't do it with guilt, but I definitely know I do it intentionally because the world is unforgiving for boys, and I want it to be like a soft space for my girls.
Mhm.
I wanna be like, "Listen, you can mess up. Don't worry about what other people say. I'm always gonna be here," and that's kinda like my approach.
Yeah. I was just saying earlier how I hear all the time, like the latest time was I think Steve Harvey the other day
Mhm.
was on the pivot talking about how a father has to raise, a man has to raise a boy. I can't
Definitely.
remember his exact words, but that's what he was saying, and I've heard that before. And it's I've always thought, in thinking about this, how important it is, like how the mother is important and the father is important to each child, whether it's a son or a daughter.
Mhm.
But what do you all think that is so essential between the father and the daughter that you can instill or have already instilled in your case, Todd, in a daughter?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, you are her first and primary male relationship, right? So how you relate to her, how you talk to her, how you embrace her, how you communicate with her, these are all things that help her evolve. So you have to be very careful how you do it. I was one not to. I didn't believe in corporal punishment. You know, I
mhm,
was never put my hand on my daughter. I don't want her to know that that's the way you alter behavior. Don't get comfortable being physically assaulted, because that's the way that's sort of the way I felt. So you are the first teacher in that, and that's a huge responsibility. So your tone, your language, everything is just different. And boys and girls communicate differently, right? You know,
Mhm.
and guys, they know this. You can say something to a boy that will sound terrible to like the moms, you know, but the boy understands what you're talking about. You would never do that to your daughter because the communication
Exactly.
is different. But
Mhm.
you have to
Mhm.
be aware of that, and it has to be intentional.
Yeah. Melody says, "Hey, everyone. Hi, everyone."
Hi, Melanie.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey,
Melody. Yeah. How about you, Charles?
what was the question again? I'm sorry.
So I knew you were gonna ask me that. So what is it that is so important, do you think, that for fathers to instill in, and you as a father, that you instilled in your daughter?
Um, what to look for in a male. Set the example as far as how she should be treated. I never my daughter, because me and her mother is not together. We haven't been together in, I want to say, since she was like 5,
Mhm.
but she's only really seen me in 2 relationships. And within those 2 relationships, I tried to show her what it was like, and the way even with her, like how I made sure that she was good. I've always took care of her, obviously. Um,
Mhm.
I always feel like as her father, as her protector, as she just told me yesterday, um, the number one man in her life, um, I'm setting the bar.
Mhm.
I wanna I remember the one my one relationship, her father told me, and it stuck out to me, and I kinda stole that what he said is, "I want to be able to pass the baton to you and know that she's in good hands." And that's like I told that to her boyfriend probably the first time we spoke, and it wasn't
Mhm.
on good terms, but, I told him, I said, "My like, I wanna make sure that whoever has whoever's with my daughter, she's protected.
Mhm.
'Cause if she comes to me with any problems, any situation,
Mhm.
Steve Harvey, like you said on the pivot, Steve Harvey had his statement, and I kinda agree. I so heartily agree with that.
Whatever you do to her, Imma do to you.
Yes, but
Uh-huh.
there's a there's the way we deal with it within my circle.
Mhm.
I'm the final boss. Okay. If you get to me,
Mhm.
there's a problem. Like, if you like, so you have to go through the chain. If you get to my brother and Adrian Russ, y'all,
Yeah.
my brother is like,
You mean if there's a problem and they get to, what do you mean?
yes, yes. If there's a problem and it gets up to his level,
Mhm.
once it gets to me, there is no coming back.
Yeah.
There is none. you know Even when she's introducing us, or she's talking she knows she knows who she has to go through.
Yeah.
And then once you get to me, then it's like, okay, now where
Yeah.
you have passed all the other tests
Yeah.
yeah.
to get to me. So
Mhm.
um but I really just try to set the example for her,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know, because at the end of the day, as we all know, a mother and son's relationship, that's a son's first love. The father and daughter is her first love.
Mhm.
They set the example, they set the bar, and I always wanted to set the bar high because
Mhm.
and I don't think there's no one in the world that's worth my daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Russell? Yeah.
Um, no, I mean everything they said, I totally agree with. For me, uh, the main things that I want to instill, I'm a protector by nature, so I think that's something that's learned being around me. I don't think that's something that I'll even have to really express to them. Like I don't think Marley has to worry about that. I think she has a full understanding of how I am.
Mhm.
And I think it'll be the same with Lauren. For me, it's equality. Um, I think in a lot of ways, being raised by a single mom, like in the household, I got to see her as a real person. And so whenever I've been around women, and that's probably why it's so easy for me to like talk to women or be around women. Like if I'm in a room full of like six ladies, I'm not nervous or anything like that. Whether they're related to me or not, it's just feminine energy is something I'm used to because I was around so many ladies. I feel like equality is one of those things that's like really important. I don't ever want her to feel like whatever she's thinking of in her mind and in her dreams that a man comes higher than that, right?
Mhm.
That's kinda like why I love track and field so much because it's the one sport that when you watch it, it looks just like the men. The only way you would be able to tell is if you looked at the times or something like that. Like, if you looked at the times, then you could say, "Oh, this man ran 100 meters in 9.8 seconds, and this woman ran it in 10.3," but when you're actually looking at it, it looks even, and that's kinda like how I want them to see life. So whether
Mhm.
it's dating boys or whether it's doing anything, going for a job, learning something, do it the way you wanna do it and be true to yourself because you are an equal. And that's
Mhm.
pretty much my main focus as far as, like, having a thing that I wanna instill in them. Everything else will just come by happenstance as far as being around me.
Yeah, I was, I mean, I think you all are speaking to it, but, I was thinking about, self-esteem and, I think so often that can escape parents sometimes, a girl feeling safe or feeling self-esteem, and even with, everything that you're talking about, is that something that's been, on your minds and, in raising your kids? And then also, is there any impact with being a Black dad, raising a Black daughter?
I mean, for me, it's pretty easy. I mean, I came from a
Mhm.
generation before me where fathers, black fathers weren't necessarily the most decorated. And so any little thing that we do in our generation is like super praised. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
by being a present dad, by being the dad that goes to the school on the orientations, by being the dad that takes them to practices, just having my daughter out and me being the one that's holding her or pushing the stroller, you get unnecessary praise. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
not looking for it at all. I feel like that's my duty and it's the way that I want to connect with my kids. That's the way that I show them love is by being present. So as far as that part, I don't feel like it's hard being a black dad yet. I haven't run into any problems.
Mhm.
Um, as far as their self-esteem though, I mean, that's who I am as a person. I mean, I don't feel like I'm around anybody that I don't try to uplift and I don't try to support. And so I'm definitely gonna do that with my kids, like in any
Yeah,
given.
and I know that. It's just that, uh, I don't know, just that still can be a thing for girls, even though, I mean, but once they go, they're in school, they have social media, that can still be a
I
thing.
mean, that's why it's called self-esteem. It's self. At the end of the day, I can
Yeah.
only support what I can support from the outside, but I
Mhm.
think also that you gotta understand that well, I understand that being around women, there's a delicate dance with that kind of stuff. So if you're talking about how I can contribute, like as far as like getting hair done, keeping her upkeep, giving her some leeway so that she doesn't feel like she's the outcast because all the other kids are doing it, I'm cognizant of that. But that's just who I am as a person,
Mhm.
right? Like I don't ever want my kids in any fashion to be behind. I do that
Mhm.
with technology. I try to give them as much leeway as I can. My son's got a YouTube channel, but I also don't want him to have TikTok, and it's a delicate dance, and he'll ask me every day, and it's just a fine line because it's like, bro, you're 8, but at the same time, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So with my daughters, I don't wanna be the father that's like, "No red lipstick," or "No, you can't paint your nails," or "No, you can't get your hair done this way." I think the only thing that I'm ever gonna rely on, like, kinda be a stickler on is, like, clothes and how you present yourself, but then that's how your build is too, like, Marley's petite, you know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
there's certain things that she's gonna get away with that other girls couldn't get away with, but it's a delicate dance. You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
she wants to go out and she has her stomach out, I also can't be the guy that's like, "Well, no, you can't have your stomach out, da 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 da." When there's other girls that are her age that are developed in other areas, and that's what they're accentuating. So you kinda don't
Mm.
wanna be too much, and that's kinda like what I'm talking about
Mhm.
with the equality thing. You don't what we like women for, we can't be mad that men like our daughters for, because that's ultimately what you want. You want her to be able to find the proper gentleman, but you also don't want her to be lame. So, I don't know if that
That's
answers
hard.
your
Yeah,
question.
It it is.
that's
It's
hard. Yeah.
it's very because as Russ was saying that, I was sitting there like I was the father that was like, you're not wearing that. Like,
Yeah.
but that's because like my daughter, like she I want to say sophomore, junior year, she started to really test the waters
Yeah.
and do certain stuff. And I would tell her like, because she, for example, she wanted her nose pierced. And I was
Mhm.
like, no, not right now. Like, not right now. She claims that
Mhm.
she got one of the fake ones in,
Mhm.
and it just magically became permanent. And I'm like,
Uh,
I was I was not born yesterday. I know this is real,
Yeah.
you know, but and I just told her that I just want you to just like trust me. Like I will let you do it, but you just gotta just let me be ready and comfortable to really let you
Yeah.
go, let you get out there because like I told her a while ago because she I think she when she turned 18 we had a heart to heart because I was like, listen, now it's that time where it's like, okay, I gotta kind of let you spread your wings.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. I just wanted to thank, people who were here. Thank you. Let you spread your wings.
Yeah, I gotta let you spread your wings, but
Mhm.
I have to position myself to where I have to still watch you, but I have to let you learn on your like kind of learn on your own.
Mhm.
And that was the hardest thing for me to do
Yeah.
because I'm like, I don't like, I want to go back to when you were
Yeah.
eight,
yeah,
when
yeah.
when you needed me,
Mhm.
and now you're getting to that point where like now it's not that I rarely hear from my child, but I only hear from my child when she needs something now.
Lynetta says, "Not right now" is the same as no.
Sometimes,
And Jack says,
sometimes.
"That's my
Can I
father."
ask you a question?
Well, it's no for now, but no for now. But I don't think there is a difference in being a black father, uh, other than the things that we worry about with all of our children, preparing them to go into this, white supremacist world, and being prepared for that, and being prepared for what that might mean, whether you're a black boy or a black woman, what that means. And I know I had conversations with my daughter, about that. I feel very fortunate. I never had the problem with the clothing thing that you had, and the boy crazy stuff. I mean, she's been great. I mean,
Yeah.
I never had that issue, but I do know that we talked a lot about that, and what I felt, and her mother too. What we felt the standard should be for how she
Mhm.
perceived herself, and I also made sure that education was like top of mind, like that's your most important key to freedom and doing whatever you want. Because
Right.
once you have that, no one can take that from you. No
Definitely.
one can take that from you. And once you express yourself in the world and become part, you'll be able to make those choices. But I'm so glad I don't have to deal with like booty shorts or
Yeah.
Well,
Can I
I don't know what I would have done.
can I
um,
ask y'all a question? And I was gonna ask Charles about the nose ring specifically, but it led me to a different thought. When because I'm in a different situation. So y'all been fathers or daughters longer than I have. And does your how can I say it? The genes that you pass down, like your real ones, like your real thoughts and who you are as a person, do you ever like look at your daughters in the way of understanding that they think how you think? And so therefore you kind of got to give them some leeway on certain things. I mean, I guess to be frank and not be so vague, I mean, like sexually, but not sexually, just like how you are attracted to people. Like, some people, they're not as free spirited, you know what I mean? And then other people are more free spirited. So, like for example, I would say that I'm a free spirited person, so I would expect my offspring to kind of be more free spirited in that way, and they're gonna test some things. And so, having a boy and having a girl, I kind of don't want to. How can I put this without it sounding crazy? You know how it is with boys. It's like, okay, go out there, date girls, right? But then with girls, a lot of times guys are like, nah, don't do that. Protect yourself. You're a beautiful flower and everything. But do you feel like you should give some leeway to them experimenting, like as far as like talking to people, doing certain things?
But you have to know your child first of all. You have to know.
No, no, definitely. But I mean, I think some people have
And
hard, fast rules, and that's what
right,
I'm getting
but
at.
I'm not sure that I would. My daughter was my only biological child. I did have two stepsons, but I don't know when they were getting of dating age. I mean, we had some serious conversations about how to date
Yeah.
and what to be aware of because they can get in just as much trouble.
Who, boys?
Boys, yeah.
Definitely. I'm way more scared of
Yeah,
my
I
son.
I was much more frightened for them than I was for my daughter.
Definitely. I definitely feel that way. I kind of feel like because everybody knows, man. I mean, I don't have to say it a lot, but if
Yeah.
anything were to ever happen to my daughters, it's a hard, fast rule. If I find out, you don't even have to talk about it. It's
Oh,
over.
yeah. It's over.
You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
it's over.
if I find out through any other channel, it's no saving the person, right? So I don't worry about them in that aspect. I do understand how like boys get caught in the most compromising situations because they're not fully equipped with what's going on and they're driven in one way. But I ain't mean to interrupt, but I
Yeah, and not emotionally equipped to handle
right.
what, so, yeah.
so, well, I want to pose a question to you. I'm curious about Todd. When I went to college, my mom told me, now my brothers were well out of the house. They were much older than me. So when I went off to college, my mom brought me to Atlanta. My father, stayed home, right? And my mother told me that my father went in my room and sat on my bed and looked around, at all the stuff I had on my walls and basically cried, and she wanted me to know, how deep that was for him. And uh I never would have known if she didn't tell me that, so I was so glad that she told me that. And so I was, Brittany, your daughter, she went off to college, and I was wondering if it was profound, how did it, what did you feel like, my babies, left the nest, or what did you feel like when
I,
she went off to college?
yeah, I didn't feel like I lost anything. I didn't feel that. I was extremely proud of her, but I did cry. But it wasn't so much from crying from loss. It was just like, I'm so glad I made it to this chapter in my life. I'm so glad we're here. And this is just a powerful, powerful moment. So I don't think it was out of loss. But you still have the father considerations. Oh my God, I hope she's safe. I hope she's all right.
Yeah, yeah,
You still, but I would have that no matter where she was,
yeah.
no matter
And I
how
don't,
old she gets, I'll still have that.
yeah, I don't know if it was lost, but it was something. It was something that wasn't expressed to me.
I
Um,
mean, but probably for your dad, that's hardcore realization that you're not child anymore. You're an adult.
Right.
mhm,
That's hard.
yeah.
And you were the baby.
And you're the right,
Mhm,
you're a baby, right?
mhm. Yeah, did you feel like that in any way with, Nessa, about just Charles, with just, realizing, well, she's not a baby anymore?
Yeah, I mean,
In your heart, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
Every like when she turned 18, um,
Yeah,
when she turned 19, I mean,
yeah,
she her graduation, she wasn't here because she was on a cruise, but me seeing because she had her I got my photographer to do her graduation pictures and seeing her in her graduation, like gown, cap and gown and all that. Seeing her for her senior prom,
mhm,
those moments right there was where I was like, yeah, I did get emotional because of just the fact of I've been actively in my in her life, you
mhm,
know. And I just think about all the stuff that we've been through, like me and her.
mhm,
Because at
mhm.
the end of the
Mhm.
day, like I say, it's me and her.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
you know, not really gonna touch on the relationship outside of me and her, like
mhm,
her mom and all that. But
Yeah.
she knows that at the end of the day,
yeah,
I'm here.
mhm,
She knows she can call me at any moment and I'm there.
yeah,
And it's those moments, and even when it's moments where like she's she gets proud of me, like when I graduated and
mhm,
she was at my graduation and she was hollering at the top of her lungs because they called my name and she seen me walk across the stage and knowing that I was doing this and she was one of the motivations behind it,
mhm,
but for her to see me at that level,
yeah,
Yeah.
um anytime I do something, she's always like when I made my announcement about me being on that panel that's coming up in October, she was like, "Oh my
mhm,
god, like get it.
yeah,
You're gonna do good."
wow,
Mhm.
mhm.
Um so yeah.
Have your daughters taught you, you're obviously your dad's, your role models, and you're teaching your child as they grow up or grew up into adults. Have they taught you anything?
Oh yeah, I think my daughter has definitely taught me a lot about having empathy.
Mm,
She's one of the purest souls I've ever met in my life, and she's just an absolutely beautiful human being. And I've learned a lot about the way she cares about people, and
mhm,
you know, took some of the sharp edges off of me a little bit. And then I also learned, and it's not that I didn't know this stuff, but she sort of hammered home and solidified sort of how difficult things are for Black women. You know,
mhm,
as smart as she is, still being second guessed at work and at the academic level where she's at, and having to deal with all those tropes and all those things that folks are saying about black women and Charlie Kirk and these other idiots. And this is the same sort of stuff she's been dealing with her whole life, and seeing that, and seeing her overcome that and triumph through that. I mean, that's been very powerful.
Mhm. Mhm. Seeing her strength.
Yeah, she's very strong,
Mhm.
very
Mhm.
strong.
Yeah.
She taught me how to take care of my mental health.
Mm.
Seeing
Wow.
her at the age of 12 sitting and going to therapy
Mhm.
motivated me to go to therapy,
Mm.
you know. So she's taught me that. She's taught me how to deal and handle that patience, because before I had zero patience. But then
Mhm.
once I got her, I everything changed.
Yeah.
Everything changed the minute I held her.
Yeah.
Like my whole demeanor, how I wanted to just go about things changed, because I was like, okay, I have to understand that she she's learning,
Yeah.
and I'm learning too. And we're both in this together. So
Mhm.
just be patient with her, because she doesn't know what's going on, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's so patience, mental health, that's powerful. That's
Mhm.
very powerful. I was thinking about Marley Russell and just wondering, just she just seems gentle to me. And I was just wondering if she's taught you anything.
I mean, definitely. I think more so than anything, she probably just proved a lot of things
And
like
she's a
that.
teenager.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
16. So
Mhm.
she proved that I could be the type of father that I wanted to be, as far as understanding and not so much of a gloves on type person, because in theory you want to be that way, but in reality sometimes it's difficult, So like the discussions we had about closed boys and transparency and things of that nature, you know what I mean? I feel like it's cool because I can ask her certain questions, you know what I mean? And I won't reveal everything just because of her privacy, but it's certain things I just ask her frankly, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? And I'm also one of those parents that just let my kids listen to whatever music they wanna listen to because they're in the world, and I'm a very musical person. So I listen to a lot of music, and they listen to a lot of music unfiltered, and,
Mhm.
some people may look at that as like, "Nah, I don't do that," or, "No, I'm not going that way." But the reason why I do it is because when I grew up, I listened to what the hell I wanted to, and my parents ain't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's almost like, why stop them instead of not having that kind of engagement? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So she and I'll talk about anything that's going on. Like we talked about the Cardi B album today. We talk about all kinds of things because as being a young adult and coming into womanhood, I don't want her to ever feel like she has to disrespect herself, and she doesn't. She's a great kid. Um, but I also don't want her to feel like she really can't talk to me about anything, and the only way to do that is to start early. I do
Yeah.
that with Jack, and Imma do it with Lauren as well, like,
Mhm.
just don't talk about stuff, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Because 'Cause
yeah,
you're a
yeah,
person, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
that makes me remember something. Um, and I talked about it when it happened. So I never had, like, obviously growing up, the music that obviously me and Russ used to listen to, or still listen to, uh, our parents would be like, no. Like my mom definitely was like, no, can't, I don't know, never. But when Pac died, I didn't have the adult to talk to.
right.
So fast forward, when um Triple X Tentacion died, my daughter was really taken back by it. She was like, "Oh my god, dad, like I just don't understand why this happened and all this." And I sat in the car and talked to her about it. And I was like, I wish
Yeah.
that like
Mhm.
I had like my mom or my dad
Mhm.
listen to the same music that I listen
Right.
to get so I can have that understanding of why something like that happened.
Right. And the
You know?
lesson in it.
Yeah. So
Right.
like when Russ is talking about how he lets, Marley listen to whatever, my daughter listens to literally and has listened to whatever. Like me, she says she gets her music taste from me because I listen to everything.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And she will sit there and she will be like, she'll be playing something. I'm like, what are you listening to? And she's like, I get it from you. Like,
Right.
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 She's like, I get it from you. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I get it. Like, I understand. She was just telling me how she went to this rock and roll concert a couple weeks back, and she was just like, oh my, it was the best experience I ever had. And I'm like, I'm glad you are,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because that's like a bond that we have. Like
Yeah.
music, like
Mhm.
I said, is a bond that I share with her. And we
Yeah.
can sit there and we can talk about everything. And I play stuff from my era, the era before me, and she's listening right along with it. We'll be sitting there singing along and everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So before we wind down, I'm wondering if either there's a word that would describe your daughters, or is there a way, like you were just describing, some similarities between you and Nessa? Like, is there some aspect of them that's like you, either or, where you're alike?
she has Nessa has my empathy. I mean,
Well, she's a Taurus.
she's I was about to say she's a Taurus. And if we want to even go deeper, she was technically supposed to be born on my birthday,
Mhm.
you know. But as I've always said, she said, no, I want my own day. As- So, but she definitely has my empathy, my compassion, my heart, my love. Like
Yeah.
that's what she has.
Yes. Mr. Duncan?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I,
Yeah.
no, I hadn't thought about that. I do think that she probably has. Well, you know her. I mean, she's probably acquired my sharp wit, sharp tongue when necessary. The ability to sort of pull the right words out of the air to make a point. I mean, she's really very good at that. She's a fantastic communicator. So
Yeah.
she probably got
What about you, Russell?
Um, Marley's a water sign. She's a Cancer. I'm a Pisces. The only person that rocks the boat in the house is my wonderful Capricorn son, who's the earth sign in the truest fashion. It's like
He's
this water
listening
gotta
to you
stop
right now.
and go around me. That's how me and him talk. We like listen. I would have told it to him if he was down here. He was just down here like 5 minutes ago. Marley's really easygoing. I think she gets her peaceful nature from me. Um, she's she's a great kid. I mean, a lot of times people say that, and it comes with a lot of bias. And I'm not being biased when I say that. You know what I mean? And praying to God, not even knocking on wood or any cliche type thing like that. Hopefully she doesn't have to go through any kind of mistakes. She's observant, like she has an aversion to bad situations or danger like I do. I try
Mm,
to keep myself out of those positions, but I do that because of experience, not necessarily having the guidance to do so.
mhm.
With Lauren, she has a very, very how can I say it? She doesn't like to be suppressed. So she wants to be free. She wants to be out. She doesn't like to be the most that I can really hold her for a long amount of time is like at night when she's tired. That's kind of like our physical bonding time. She's
Mhm.
kind of affectionate in the way that I'm affectionate. It's like if I'm in your presence, that's my greatest form of affection. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be all touchy-feely. It's like that it's not that I don't wanna be that way, but she's definitely like me in that way. It's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're around, you're over there. Great." You know what I mean? She greets like I greet, and
Yeah,
then she's free like I wanna be free.
yeah.
But, I mean, she's young, so it's gonna be interesting. That's probably one of my greatest, curiosities because I'm not a very curious person, but I always say that I cherish the relationship that I had with my dad. He always wanted a daughter. And so now it's so interesting to see like what our relationship is gonna manifest into.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad was an Aquarius, my best friend is an Aquarius, like, you know what I mean? Outside of my
Mhm.
wife being my best friend, but like my childhood best bud is an Aquarius. And I always can move in a room with an Aquarius in a cool way. So it's cool.
And it's fascinating too how she looks like both of you and your mom.
Yeah,
That's
she looks like my mom to me. And
yeah.
sometimes I see my dad. She makes a lot of my like facial expressions, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
just depends on who you think she looks like. You got to look at like all the pictures, but she looks just like my mom to me.
Mhm. Um, I'm really grateful to you guys, for your support overall, and most definitely on a Friday night. I try to make it, 9:30, like not too late,
Oh, that's
maybe
cool.
so just thank you for this.
Oh, you're welcome. You're
Actually, thank you, because I think this conversation was really important, because too many times in media, we podcasts and social media, there's always this assault on black fathers and not doing what they're supposed to do and not being, involved. And here you have three black men, different generations, who all love and care, nurture, and think about the children that they're raising. So I think this was just very important to see, and I'm just happy I was part of that.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
well said, Todd. A lot of times I just don't even pay attention to it. Like, not pay attention to what people say, but pay attention to what I'm doing. Like, I just show up, you know what I mean? And so many times I hear people just say, like, cool stuff. Like, "Oh my
Mhm.
god, you're such a good dad," or people will tell my wife, like, they call me John. People call me John, people call me Russell. Some people would be like, "John, such a good father." She was like, "I know." And I'll just be like, "Man, I'm chilling, man." Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
but
Imma be
that
here for
example is important, though. That it's
it.
important
Yeah, it
for
is.
us more of that, to tell more of our true stories,
No, you're right.
and not the tropes.
Hey,
You know?
you're 100% correct. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so in it that I don't even pay attention enough to
Yeah,
really accept the compliment.
right, right.
uh,
Oh, it's cool hearing it.
Sandra of 90 Day Win says, I enjoyed you gentlemen. Beautiful conversation.
Thank you.
Lenita, yes, thank you. Thank you, Sandra. And Lenita says, great to see Black dads speaking well about loving their daughters. And again, Sandra, 90 Day Wins, says, yes, it is important. So just
Yeah.
ditto to what you were saying, Todd.
I feel
And
like women need support, you know,
Absolutely.
and, a lot of times, especially in this day and age, you have so many different guys, not just black, but just so many different men. It seems like they're attacking women, and, it's it's one of those things that I feel is like they call it hyper masculine, and I think it's anti-masculine to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in a lot
Mhm.
of ways, like that goes back to the whole equality thing that I'm talking about, and raising my daughters for these new sensitive type of men and how to navigate that and what they should stand up for and what they should and shouldn't take in a relationship, things of that nature.
Mhm. I was gonna ask you, what do you think that was about? But I think you answered the question saying,
I think
oh,
what
90
was
Day
about.
Win says, I'm gonna tell you to say, she says, speak on it. Thank you. What did you mean? Uh, I didn't know what you were referring to, like why I wanted to know why you thought men were attacking women, and then you said sensitivity. So
Well, I mean, the sensitivity, I don't necessarily know where it comes from. I think it's more about climate. A lot of times, you hear these men speak on how hard it is to get in relationships, and then they flip the whole equality thing, right? So they mistake courting and what we're supposed to do for equality. So say for instance, courting isn't a I scratch your back, you scratch my back type of situation. To me, it's a delicate dance. It's certain things that men are supposed to do, and there's certain things that women are supposed to do to make it successful. And I don't think that's if I buy you this, you buy me that. If you cook this, I cook that. Is it 50-50 on a date? Like, man, who cares? Do you like the woman or not? And if you
mhm,
like her, try real hard. Like, it's that
yeah,
simple. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah.
don't know where it sparks from, but I know it's here. And
Mhm,
having daughters, that's a main focal point for me is to let them know, like, hey, the best effort you're gonna get from a man is in the beginning, so make it worth it. You know what I mean? Don't diminish
mhm,
yourself. Don't feel like you gotta meet this dude halfway. If he really likes you, he should come get you. And it's the
mhm,
same for my son. The opposite. If you like a girl real hard, try real hard. Don't care about what other guys say about her. Don't care about what other women say about her. If you like her, you go for her and you
mhm,
try real hard.
Mhm.
mhm. Yeah,
So
speak on it.
It's a whole nother podcast on the transitional relationships.
No, like that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
whole
true.
other thing.
Yeah. Oh my. Thank you. Thank you guys very, very much. And if you roll over tonight, can't sleep, you know.
I'm gonna try to come in and support you at an odd time. I don't know how
Oh,
odd it's
thank
gonna
you.
be, but even if it's
Oh,
2 hours from now, I
yeah.
don't know. Try to,
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
sure.
I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks for having this conversation.
Thank you.